2 months later with the HP OMEN TRASCEND 14 gaming laptop. Let's see if it actually bangs. Yes, what's good people, it's man like Jamo. Now, before I go into this laptop, I just wanted to remind you guys that Intel Gamer Days starts today. So if you want to find some good deals on gaming laptops like the HP TRASCEND 14, make sure you click the link in the description section below. Now, I'm trying not to be a fanboy, but I can't lie, the HP OMEN TRASCEND has got me gassed. OLED 2.8K 120Hz screen, Core Ultra 9 processors, 32GB of RAM, Thunderbolt, the whole works, NVIDIA RTX 4070. Yo, this has got a lot going on for it. Now, starting off with the ports, on the left hand side we've got one Thunderbolt and one 3.5mm combination headphone jack. On the right hand side now we got two USB-A 3.2 Gen 2 ports here. And on the back of the device we got a HDMI 2.1 and a USB-C 3.2 Gen 2, which is also the port that they recommend plug in the power port into so that you can get that 140 watt power input. Now, the design is nice and simple with the OMEN logo in the middle of the top of the panel. However, it's a little bit fingerprinty. I don't know if you guys can see the fingerprints that are all over the lid. It just makes the whole thing look messy, but it's nothing a little bit of sticker bombing can't solve. Now, they've done a good job on the hinge, like you are able to open it with one finger kind of thing, but my fingers are actually too sausage-like to fit in between the gap between the lid and the keyboard base. So yeah, if you've got slim fingers, you'll probably be able to open this with one finger a lot more easier, but if you're a sausage finger gang like me, it might be a little bit harder for you. Now, I'm not going to lie, guys, talking about specs is not really my kind of thing, but the specs that they've put into this little laptop have got, man, gassed. Starting off with the processor, we're talking Intel Core Ultra 9 AI processor in there, 32GB of RAM to go with that, but it's obviously soldered on, so no room for upgrading there. We do have room for upgrading the SSD though, and at the moment man's got a terabyte of NVMe flavor stuff going on in there. We've got the NPU thing to help with the other AI tasks, and that comes with the processor obviously. We got Intel Arc integrated graphics, which actually is very capable of editing 4K video and playing a little bit of lightweight gaming. But if that's not enough, you also got the NVIDIA RTX 4070. The only issue is that this one is not max power though, so we're gonna have to see how this RTX 4070 compares to a RTX 4070 in a much bigger laptop. Now, when you got a laptop as small and as portable as this, you obviously want the battery life to go with it. And it's very hard because there's hardly any laptop to put the battery inside of. However, I'm pleased to tell you that with these new Intel Core Ultra processors, battery life is finally taking a stand, fam. Like, man's got 45% at the moment, and I've had 4 hours on screen time. I think there's like 9 hours of standby time altogether at the moment. I should be able to squeeze 8 hours out of this, and that's more than enough for me on a gaming laptop, fam. More than I've gotten out of any other gaming laptop, at least. I think I nearly forgot to mention that you got a 4-zone RGB keyboard here. Apparently some upper models do have per key RGB, which I would have preferred, but the 4-zone is okay. It's nice and bright, and you can customize it a little bit with the HP OMEN software. Now, on to the gaming. We're starting off with a little bit of Grid Legends. Now, Grid Legends, obviously, I had the VSync on here, but we're at 2K resolution and we're getting a locked 60. I wouldn't expect any less from Grid because it's quite a well-optimized game. And to be honest, even at 1080p, this game looks wicked. I think everything looks wicked on this screen because at 1080p, 14-inch screens still have quite a close pixel density and they look quite sharp. I don't really think there's any point in playing games at 2.8K on this display. I don't feel like there's any more visual fidelity for me personally, but it is what it is. You can see here on Fallout 4 getting a nice locked 120 frames per second with a couple dips down further than that. On Ratchet and Clank, we're getting around about 60 to 70, tops 80 frames per second here, and that's everything maxed out with ray tracing, fam. Again, This is not a full power RTX 4070, but it's still doing the job that it needs to do. I think we're gonna move on to a little bit of power washer here just for the banter, and mainly just because I wanted to show you guys the color reproduction of this OLED display, fam. This OLED display is sussy. Oh gosh, and obviously power wash is going to run on anything you put it on anyways, because it's a very well optimized game. Nothing excitingly going on in terms of graphics there, so yeah, that runs perfectly. And just last but not least, because I wanted to show you guys that it's able to run fighting games with a decent frame rate. Obviously with fighting games it's 60 frames per second or nothing, otherwise the game feels mad slow. So yeah man, definitely a decent all-rounder and can play mostly anything you need. Another thing I've been using this for over the past 2 months is video editing. In fact, I've been solely using this for both food video editing and my normal tech video editing, because that RTX 4070 is not playing about, and it's nice that I can bring it around in a nice little slim portable form factor. And even if I want to save battery and not use the RTX 4070, the integrated Intel Arc graphics are on job, fam, for doing anything that's really up to 4K 30 in terms of your video editing. So literally no issues, fam, whatever you're doing. This laptop also slaps at doing normal boring desktop stuff. I'm talking about watching Netflix, doing up YouTube, basically doing anything I gotta do on Google Chrome, which is literally me working from home, because most of my job can be done from the web browser using like Microsoft Office and kind of them things there. Battery life is really good whilst using the web browser as well, so yeah, no complaints doing that normal stuff. Nice and snappy. Yeah, it's doing its job basically, innit? Anyway, people, that's me 2 months later with the HP OMEN Transcend 14. I actually feel like this has made 14-inch laptops my go-to form factor for actually carrying them around. Like 15-inch, 16-inch, 18-inch, I get it, they're okay, you can use them as desktop replacements, but I feel this 14-inch form factor is really the winner, and especially with the power that they've packed into this little guy right here, you can use it as a desktop replacement if you want to connect it to your monitor, your bigger monitor, whatever it is kind of thing. And it's also small enough and light enough for you to carry around without pulling a muscle on your back. You understand, fam? Like, I usually go to quite a lot of events and I have to put my laptop in my bag and then ride my bike, and all that extra weight of a 2 kg plus laptop, it just isn't it, fam. This 14-inch thing right here, especially how slim it is and how sexy it looks, this is the way forward for me, and I think that HP have done a good job here. I just got to see what else other companies have got in this kind of category to see what this little guy is up against. But that's for another video. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.